Well, after a long wait, the goat himself has returned from the darkness. The Everdark Sovereign version of Libra, Creature of Night, is here, and I defeated him solo on my second attempt. Yeah, I'm still kind of shaking. The stress was very real, especially after I came this close on my first attempt before completely and utterly choking at the finish line. They're not kidding when they say that this goat induces madness. But in today's video, I want to go over my winning battle with this ghoulish abomination, as well as take an in-depth look at the boss's brand new Phase 3, and all of his moves, including his abilities to not only conjure enemy versions of yourself, but to incite an all-out riot that truly does devolve into complete and utter madness. And hopefully, if any of you out there are struggling to defeat Libra, the Everdark Sovereign version, then maybe this guide will come in handy. I certainly do hope so. If you did find this guide useful, or you just enjoyed this video in general and you want to see more from me and the channel, then consider hitting subscribe today. It really would mean the absolute world. Your support would be greatly appreciated on our journey to 15,000 subs. The last few videos have had an amazing reception, and I do really appreciate each and every one of you. The battle against Everdark Libra begins in the same way as before. You approach the hunched-over cloaked figure silhouetted against the distorted sky, and he proposes you make a deal with him. By the looks of things, at least based on my 2 attempts, the deals offered here are the same as you can receive in a normal playthrough, and I chose to refuse to make a deal. As with the other Everdark Sovereign bosses, Libra begins this fight in his second phase, except things here are a little different, as Libra doesn't truly have a second phase in his original fight. There isn't a true delineation between completely different versions of the battle like there are with the other Night Lords. Instead, he will simply attempt to buff himself at certain points in the fight, and it's up to you to shatter the golden sigils keeping him protected while he's in a kind of meditative state. In the Everdark version of the fight, Libra simply begins the battle already buffed. Now, I'm pretty sure the battle against Libra is considered one of Nightreign's best bosses, and to be honest, I really enjoyed the Everdark version of him as well, though I'm likely biased seeing as I actually managed to complete it, and fairly quickly too, but this feels like a completely new fight once Phase 3 begins, and the game, I think smartly, finds a way to incorporate Libra's kind of main mechanic, his making deals mechanic with the player, into the battle itself, and they activate in real time. Essentially, that is the biggest change here. That's what will define basically the majority of your battle against him. Once Phase 3 begins, Libra himself remains, for all intents and purposes, mostly the exact same, but he begins initiating deals that you have no choice but to participate in, warts and all. However, as is the balanced nature of such a deal, as is the balanced nature of dealing with the equilibrious beast, they can actually benefit you too, and in some pretty substantial ways, as was the case in my winning battle with him. In fact, I'm pretty sure me winning mostly came down to the deals that he had struck. Anyway, Libra begins his new third phase once you've removed what seems to be about a quarter or so of his health bar, meaning the vast majority of the fight is going to be the totally new version. And the phase transition here is absolutely awesome. Libra kind of collapses to his knees and clutches at his head before throwing his neck back and unleashing a terrible roar as he's completely swallowed up by a pillar of golden light. Now having transformed, let's first take a look at his visual design. And again, I've got to say, I prefer it to even his normal look, which was already awesome. In his original form, Libra is wearing a rather disgusting cloth-like tunic that's actually kind of made up of his own skin. And this second version has taken that idea and kind of run with it. Now that patterned tunic on the creature's torso is gone. Instead, Libra's skin and fur is now draped over his shoulders, taking on the appearance of an ornate, decorated priest's stole, usually worn to denote priestly authority, while a small cloak of fur now flows down his back. However, his actual torso itself is now rent open, and the inside of his body is, I don't know, lined with several strange gold discs that almost look as though they are kind of stitching him together, keeping him held together. Yeah, in general, it's a somewhat subtle, but I think frankly awesome visual change, and as he's prowling around the battlefield, the flowing nature of these new clothes, in quotation marks, really do make him look like an authoritative mage or wizard. It's great. But yeah, once this phase begins, I mean, Libra uses many of the same attacks as he always does. His Madness machine gun sigil, crushing a stone in his hand to conjure a blast of madness under your feet. I hate that attack so much. Teleporting to be right on top of you, I kind of hate that attack as well. Summoning a lake of madness above the battlefield that rains down upon you, sending a stream of madness towards you, and so on and so forth. You've seen all of this before. And of course, Libra is constantly covering the ground in those gold crystals that you need to be picking up as they help to alleviate your madness buildup. One move that I haven't seen him use, and I don't think he does use anymore since he starts the fight buffed already, is his buff. Instead, the rage mechanic that would activate originally if you managed to destroy the sigils in time has now been kind of incorporated organically into the fight itself. While the activation requirements don't seem to be clear, as far as I can tell, if you manage to stagger Libra, he will now enter that enraged state and begin lunging at you wildly and recklessly, swinging his staff and attempting to get in close. And he'll still do that thing where he leaps at you and kind of rips the ground up in an explosion of madness. But again, he is fairly easy to avoid now. However, having said that, in his enraged state, he'll also do this incredibly annoying swift charge move that I cannot remember if he uses in his normal fight, but it's similar to Hyolstor's ability, where he'll just kind of dash towards you at a super high speed with only really a roar to indicate what's coming. One of Libra's actual brand new moves, however, is his ability to conjure a cross of golden light in the sky, which he then brings down upon the ground, seemingly kind of boxing you in amongst golden walls of light. It's a little bit similar to, in the first Berserker Kazan, when Reese, the penultimate boss, would create these walls of light designed to box you in. But interestingly, I think Libra's version here, I think this move is actually very easy to dodge, and it seemed completely non-threatening to me. It doesn't seem to really do anything, as at one point I actually passed through the wall with seemingly no issue. I mean, I was expecting it to hurt me, though to be fair, I did roll through it, so maybe that's why. It was completely by accident, I forgot the walls behind me, but regardless, it didn't seem to do anything. But of course, the main new mechanic, the mechanic that absolutely will define this fight for everyone who tries to tackle it, is Libra's new deal mechanic. It's not really new, of course, this is the mechanic that has defined Libra himself ever since the game released, but it is used in a new and, in my opinion, really awesome and creative way here in the battle. Now, normally when you begin your battle with Libra, he'll offer you a set of deals, you can choose to make one of them. When it comes to the actual final boss fight, it's normally worth refusing to make a deal, as the others have such detrimental effects. They do come with positive advantages, but they have such detrimental effects that when it comes to the often clutch nature of the third night battle, it's not really worth the risk. Here, though, Libra has a brand new set of deals and you don't get a choice. You have to partake. But again, like the normal set of deals, they come with both positive and negatives, though I have to admit the positives here are a little less obvious. So let's dive into the deals, at least as far as I understand them to work. This is almost entirely based off of my 2 attempts against the boss, so if I'm incorrect about any of the details here, do please let me know down in the comments. So the first detail, and the one that people will probably see the most, is a demon summons a condemned. And here Libra conjures a clone of you to fight for him. Now the idea of this clone being a condemned is really awesome to me. It's as though he's bound to Libra's service and there's no escape for him unless, I guess, you kill him. Now these clones will only target you, and Libra conjures an equal number of clones as there are players. So for me, it was just the one clone, and I think that actually does make life a lot easier. However, the Condemned also gets its own powerful weapon. It doesn't seem to use the same weapon that you have. At least as far as a demon summons a Condemned goes, there doesn't, I think, seem to be any kind of a benefit for you, unless, of course, it comes later with the advent of the next deal, which we'll discuss now. A demon incites a riot. Now, Libra conjures another clone of you to fight, but this time the clone doesn't serve Libra. Instead, it will fight anyone and everyone on the battlefield, including Libra himself, and can take the boss's attention away from you. But, as you can see in my winning fight, the way this deal was used was actually a little confusing at first, and I think has maybe obfuscated how it actually works, as Libra uses it immediately after summoning a Condemned. So there was initially one person fighting for Libra, and as soon as that Condemned was conjured into battle, he then activated the Riot, which then summoned another Condemned, but this one was immediately engaging in a free-for-all, meaning they would all fight each other. So what's confusing about that to me is I've also read online that if you don't already have a Condemned in the fray, and if Libra incites a riot, he will instead summon two clones right off the bat. Again, this is based on a solo playthrough, and they'll all fight each other. It will all be one big free-for-all skirmish. But what confused me was because he used it immediately after summoning a Condemned, I wasn't sure if the initial Condemned actually engaged in the riotous behaviour, or if they stayed attacking me all the time. It seemed like they did, to be honest, but I can't be entirely sure about that. Either way, the clone that was conjured definitively as part of the riot did help me out a fair bit, as he actually battled Libra and kept the other clone at bay as well, meaning there were times, as you'll see in the video, where it was just Libra and I fighting while the clones were kind of off doing their own thing. And later in the fight, them taking Libra's attention away from me, or at least that one clone anyway. Again, I'm not entirely sure about the other one. Maybe the footage made it a lot clearer, I can't remember. But that basically helped me win the fight, at least as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, up next is a demon offers a challenge. Now again, he's offering you a challenge, but you have to take it no matter what. Libra will cut both his and our maximum health bar down, and he does the same thing to the clones as well if you have any in battle at the time, essentially making it so you can only restore a certain amount of your health. Anything beyond that now greyed out part of the health bar cannot be restored. Now, as far as helping me out, I think this was completely useless because Libra's health bar was already under the threshold of what he removed, and at least as far as I can tell, Libra has no way of healing himself. So yeah, it only hurt me. Now, of course, if Libra offers a challenge much earlier into the fight, perhaps he can cut his own health bar down, and that's where the benefit for the player will come in, but I'm not entirely sure. And me dying here seemed to remove this challenge. Next up, we have A Demon Preaches Madness, and I'm not entirely sure how this one works. All I know is that it helped me out quite a lot. Libra affects both himself and us with madness, and again I think he does it to the clones too, but as you can see in the video that this didn't seem to work out very well for him at all. So you can see from the video that Libra is taking damage because I'm shooting him, which, you know, makes sense, but I'm wondering if because he is currently preaching madness, as the game states as part of his latest deal, if maybe every attack is currently proccing madness build-up? Because as you can see, by the time his Golden Cross ability kind of hits the ground, he suffers from madness and takes a big chunk of damage. He's clutching his eyes, which is really awesome. But crucially, my weapon, the weapon I came into the battle with, had no kind of madness status ailment attached to it. But here it seems as though me shooting him does proc madness on him. So when he preaches madness, I kind of wonder if everyone's weapon just suddenly builds madness up. That would kind of make sense to me. You can also see the two clones are currently fighting in between us as well. They both have madness building up as they're attacking each other. One of them even gets madness procced and takes a bunch of damage. So I'm kind of guessing that that's what's going on here, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, it helped me out a lot. Now, honestly, it was really cool seeing him surrounded by all of this gold light, but clutching at his eyes as they were aflame at the same time. Next up, and this is the final deal that I saw in my battle with him, a demon reveals an inescapable eye. A cloud of yellow smoke appears above your head. Now, from again what I could tell, if Libra hits you, if he himself hits you while this cloud is above your head, as you can see he smacked me with his staff, the cloud immediately becomes an eye, and madness build-up begins. However, if you avoid Libra for long enough, that eye seemingly returns to being a cloud once more. Now, I also had a look at IGN's guide for this battle, as I knew that I hadn't seen all of the deals, and so I wanted to bring them all to you, and they note that the inescapable eye is based on how long it takes you to kill your clone, which maybe is true, but I found it weird that once I killed my clone, as you can see in the video footage, the cloud didn't seem to disappear above my head, although I do die very soon afterwards, so maybe it's impossible to tell. Anyway, like I said, those are all the deals that I saw play out during my 2 battles against Libra. Like I said, though, he does have a couple more, and so these come courtesy of the IGN guide, which I've linked down in the description. A demon offers a false blessing, wherein you become encircled by 3 rings. Now, during this time, apparently you can use your flasks without them depleting. So, for example, if you have 0 flasks remaining, you can actually still heal as though you have flasks, but every usage of your flask will remove an entire level up to 3 times based on the rings around you, which honestly sounds absolutely absurd. Now, I can see why that would be good. Obviously, the benefit there is essentially free flask usage. And if you are really in desperate need, if you are in dire straits, then yeah, I can see why you would do that, but losing a level is pretty rough. To be honest though, as you can see from my first attempt against the Everdark Libra, I was only level 12 when I was somehow 1 hit away from winning. So what that tells me is, certainly if you go into the fight at max level, you can probably afford to drop a level or 2 and still win, if you really, really have to. But I mean, this false blessing seems to be, I would imagine, the most damaging of the deals that Libra can offer. Again, it's not really a deal, you have to take it. But yeah, that's pretty brutal. And then finally, I think, during multiplayer, another effect can come into play. A demon shrouds all allies, which makes it impossible to see your teammates for a short time. Having done this only solo so far, I haven't seen that, but I probably will in the future. So I think that is every real-time deal that Libra can initiate during his battle. However, if you have seen others, again, I would love to know down in the comments, and it will help, of course, other players who are struggling with this fight to know them as well, so do please let me know down in the comments. But those are all the deals that I saw him fight, plus a couple more from IGN. Remember, of course, that my experience with Libra and his deals comes from the perspective of a solo player. Again, from what I've been reading online, him calling forth the condemned sounds a lot more difficult and frankly crazy to deal with if there are 3 of you on a team, as he will conjure 3 condemned, and then I think potentially 3 more on top of that if he then incites a riot, which seems like, well, madness. Anyway, I figured we would close out this video with my full winning run, and I'll try and commentate over the top of it, but to be totally honest, as I've said before, I'm not great at this game, so a lot of this may come down to sheer dumb luck, but let's take a look together. So yeah, like I said, this was my 2nd attempt, and I was in a pretty good place here, to be fair. Level 15, I think I had something like 4 extra lives. I refused to make a deal. I had multiple Wending Graces, I think maybe 3, but I also had the power of Noclateo as well. So I think I had 4 extra lives, 7 flasks. We were going into this in a pretty good spot, I think. So yeah, the fight begins. He is... So, I mean, to be honest, actually, he doesn't look to be buffed. because I think when he's buffed in his original fight, he's covered in a gold light, whereas that doesn't seem to be the case here, which is kind of interesting. I thought he started this fight buffed, but maybe he already has the power up, I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, as you can see, he's mostly using the same attacks. I absolutely hate that move where he crushes a stone and then a sigil appears beneath you, because I just always seem to mistime my dodges. I have gotten slightly better. I don't know what I was doing there, I just let him hit me. Managed to dodge that one there. Again, the teleport does annoy me as well. I take a lot of really silly, damage here early on. I just should be dodging some of these moves better. But we're very close now to him beginning his, essentially, phase 3. As you can see, he'll still do his kind of regular jumps at you. That jump combo where he then jumps and then crushes the stone. Now he's entering his phase 3. So this is really cool. You can see him, like, he's taken his meditative stance, but he's holding his head in his hands, and suddenly the massive gold pillar of light. Very, very cool. And now he is in his Everdark form, essentially, where he looks totally different. A demon summons the condemned, so immediately, and a demon reveals an inescapable eye, one right after the other. So right here, he has conjured this clone of me to fight me. The clone has a poison bow, which is interesting, and I've got the cloud over my head. This is where Libra now smacks me with his staff, and that seems to activate the inescapable eye. So now I'm getting both madness and poison build up, which isn't fun. This clone, not too annoying, to be honest. It was kind of annoying the way he kept dodging my attacks, but initially I thought I may as well focus on him. Libra teleporting towards you is pretty annoying, but eventually we do manage to kill the clone. But I'm pretty sure I die immediately here. Yeah, so the machine gun thing kills me, and I think that removes my Noclateo power-up. As you can see, though, it does seem to remove the inescapable eye, though it's very hard to tell if maybe killing the clone did that instead, although the cloud was definitely still there as the clone was dying, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, so he's still using that annoying move. He can also lay out those sigils on the ground that he then detonates. Again, I can't remember if that's in his basic form or not. Some of these attacks were annoying. That's why I ulted there, because I figured I was in trouble. He was not only right on top of me, but he also activated the machine gun sigil right in front of me as well, so I figured I may as well get some invincibility there. As you can see here, we've activated his enraged form. Now, he didn't buff himself in the usual way, so that does seem to come about by him being staggered, I think. He has this annoying charge move that took out loads of my health as well. Barely any kind of sign that he's going to use that. He does his weird little roar thing, very similar to Hyolstor. Now he summons another condemned. This is where things get really crazy, because see, immediately afterwards he incites a riot, and you can see he summons another condemned to make that happen. Now, this first condemned, who is against me, who is fighting me, once again has a poison bow. Seems to be the exact same guy as we fought initially. I should never have gotten hit by that. That was terrible. I should have dodged. That was really bad. But now you can see that the condemned and the rioter are now fighting each other off in the distance, and now it's just me and Libra, so that does make life a little easier for me, to be honest. And you'll see that the rioter actually continues to make life easy for me later on. But for now, I love that they're having a fight over in the distance. That is pretty cool. I should never have gotten hit by that. Should have dodged it. That was so bad. But the teleport is pretty annoying, especially since he will do it right on top of you. Interestingly, I completely survived that attack because I'm guessing I had some kind of invincibility frames based on my reanimation. I'm not entirely sure, but we got pretty lucky there. Again, his basic leap attack's very easy to dodge and attack. Sometimes I'm able to pull off a dodge on that sigil move, which does annoy me. But yeah, so now he's offering a challenge. So this is the one where he cuts both of our health bars down. Like I said, though, earlier in the video, his health was already way underneath this, so it seems to be completely worthless for me. But my health bar has been cut. But I don't have any flasks anyway, so I just get killed. You can see under Libra that he had two of his own deal icon. So, interestingly, on the left-hand side, there is the rioter who is now fighting Libra, I think, although now he's coming after me. Which is interesting as well. The other condemned seems to be dead. Oh no, he's there. No, there he is. He's there. So now I got taken out again. So I was killed there by the other clone, which is very annoying. A demon preaches madness. Now this is the one I don't understand. And you can see here that Libra's health is already going down, and then he gets hit by madness. He procs madness on himself and takes a huge bit of damage, which again actually really helped me win this fight, I think. And now he is getting his attention drawn by the other guys. He is engaging in a fight with them, which was really what I needed here at the very end. I have another ult. He clips me with his staff, which takes me out, which was very frustrating. I was starting to get pretty stressed at this point. I'm now officially out of extra lives as well. But them taking his, that's me ulting, because basically I just figured I needed to get it off. Them taking his attention did help me out a lot. This is where I get very, very stressed. First of all, again, I should have dodged that. That was really, really amateurish. But now he kind of starts pulling off a spell where it gives me a chance to win. As you can see here, I'm nearly dead. And at this point, I was like, why is he not dead? I was hitting him with so many arrows, but eventually he did go down. The other clones all collapse as well, and that is the end of the fight. I was very nearly done, but we did actually manage to do it that time. So yeah, that was my winning run against Libra. As you can see, he's completely elated, but it was chaotic, to say the least. It was scary, it was very stressful at the end. But yeah, we did actually manage to do it. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. I do hope it was maybe useful. It was helpful to maybe help you get a grip on what's actually going on in the Everdark Sovereign Libra fight. It is pretty crazy stuff. I throw my hands up. I think I was probably pretty lucky to win that as fast as I did. I did have a very good run. I got a pretty great bow for killing, I think that was the Royal Carrion Knight, which is honestly a bit of a nightmare fight as well. Then we went into Noclateo. We got the secret for defeating the Natural Born of the Void, which gave me an extra life, which again, without that, I would have lost as well. And so yeah, generally speaking, it was a pretty good run overall. And I do hope you guys are able to succeed as well. Do let me know down in the comments if you have fought the Everdark version of Libra, how it's gone for you so far. And like I said, for my sake and for the sake of anyone who's coming here who does need some help, let me know down in the comments if I missed any of Libra's deals or anything like that. I'd love to know, and we can collate some information, some tips here for anyone who hasn't yet defeated him. But alright guys, that's it for the video. I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took something of value away from it as well. If you did enjoy it, consider hitting subscribe down below. It really does make a massive amount of difference to the growth of the channel. We're trying to reach 15k subs. I'd absolutely love to get there. Maybe by the end of the summer, if we can do it, that would be wonderful. But either way, your support does mean the absolute world to me. And thank you all so, so very much, even just for being here. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I wish you all the absolute best of luck against the madness goat. He is back, and he's got a pretty good fight, I think. But the deals situation is kind of crazy, especially if you're in a team. I think that does exacerbate things in a big way. But yeah, best of luck to you all. All right, everyone, until next time, I'll catch you later, and let's talk games again. I'm still shaking. The stress is real. The adrenaline was absolutely pumping at the end there.